Congressman Adam Schiff is the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee and joins me now. So you have a new CIA director confirmed by the Senate, sworn in today by the Vice President with the President there. And in this swearing-in ceremony and introducing the dignitaries there, the chairman of your committee of House Intelligence, Devin Nunes, whom you've crossed swords with multiple times over these last year and a half, was there, and he called him a very courageous man, the president did. I suspect you would not describe Devin Nunes as very courageous.
That's not the description I would use, and this is the problem the Justice Department faces right now, and that is, in the times in the past where Congress has tried to break down the independence of the Justice Department or interfere with an investigation, you had the president doing the blocking and the tackling and making sure the president protected the department. Here you have the president battering down the independence of the Justice Department, and you have willing allies like Devin Nunes and Gowdy and Jordan and Meadows who are only too happy to help and are facilitating
You're mentioning, of
this.
course, House Republicans from the Freedom Caucus and others who are allied with them. So how concerned are you that we are reaching a point here where if Rod Rosenstein's dodge, if you will, to turn this over to the Inspector General, the independent Inspector General, if that does not pass muster with the president, are we getting to a real confrontation?
Well, it certainly looks like a Saturday night massacre in slow motion. We have seen the erosion of the independence of the Justice Department, which alarms me. In the lifting of the gag rule on the witness in Uranium One. We saw it in the acceleration of the investigation against Andrew McCabe so that he could be fired before his pension vested. And now we see it in the president ordering an investigation of his own investigators. Now, clearly, this is designed to undermine the investigation. It's designed to distract from the president's growing legal troubles. And the question is, will we go along with it? And sadly, we have a weak speaker who's not willing to stand up to this effort in the House to undermine the investigation. And we have a president who has no respect for the rule of law, and that makes for a very dangerous mix for our democracy.
Congressman, the president tweeted yesterday, if the FBI or DOJ was infiltrating a campaign for the benefit of another campaign, that is a really big deal. Only the release or review of documents that the House Intelligence Committee, also Senate Judiciary, is asking for can give the conclusive answers, drain the swamp. Now, he's asking for the release of documents which would reveal the name of this FBI informant.
Well, he's certainly asking for information to be provided to Congress that the Justice Department FBI says could put lives at risk, would interfere with an investigation, might interfere with relationships with our allies. And the president's answer is, I don't care. I only care about what's good for me, and this is good for me. And sadly, that's the attitude of some of the members of the House as well. And that is a terrible, new, and destructive low for this Congress and this administration.
And if it is true that this could interfere with relations with our allies, that means that this was also a CIA informant. Because most likely, if it interferes with our relations with overseas intelligence agencies. I wanted to ask you about the second meeting at Trump Tower during the campaign with foreign governments. Don Jr. acknowledging that there was a meeting but saying that they never acted on it, but an offer from Persian Gulf countries for help to the campaign. This would be illegal if it were received, if it were acted on. Were you aware of it?
I was not aware of it. Now, there are some meetings with some of the same players that we have had information about.
In the Seychelles?
We certainly were aware of the meeting in the Seychelles, and this raises profound questions about whether Eric Prince testified truthfully or committed perjury before our committee. But, you know, one thing is for certain, we cannot rely on the representations of Don Jr. or his attorney. Is this another version of the meeting was about adoptions? Now they're saying it was only about social media and we rejected it. We don't know what happened at that meeting. Now George Nader does, and so does the special counsel. But this could be very important evidence of a willingness and intent to seek foreign help. It would bear on their intent in terms of the Russia meetings, but it could be quite a separate violation if they were receiving foreign help from other foreign parties.
Could these Persian Gulf countries also be passing money through from Russia?
Well, there have been allegations along those lines as well, that Michael Cohen was a conduit for money coming from the Gulf. And we know the inflows to that account of Michael Cohen. We don't know the outflows. Where did that money go that Michael Cohen was receiving? So a lot of big unanswered questions, and it really feels like a growing sense of alarm on the president's part. That boiled to a head on Sunday as he's watching this unfold. For someone who keeps claiming no collusion, no collusion, no collusion, he is acting like someone who doesn't believe his own protestations of innocence.
You're a former prosecutor. I'm also very curious about some of the interactions with the country with Qatar, which during the early stages was approached by people connected to Kushner, people connected to Trump for money. Said no, apparently. The Sovereign Wealth Fund said no. They then found themselves embargoed by the Saudis with the support of President Trump, to the great surprise of the Defense Secretary and the then Secretary of State. And then apparently in recent weeks, Qatar has come through with some bailout money for the troubled Kushner family enterprise at 666 Fifth Avenue. You do have some concerns that foreign policy is being influenced by some of these financial entanglements.
Without a question, I have great concerns about it. Congress ought to be doing oversight of this, but of course, those who would be doing the oversight in the Government Reform Committee are not willing to. But you have the situation with Qatar, where allegedly they didn't go through with a transaction with the Trump family, and then they got punished by the U.S. government. You have the situation with China, where the president originally said he was going to revisit one China policy, and when he decided not to, Ivanka gets trademarks. He decided to, through his Treasury Department, sanction the Chinese firm ZTE. He reverses course when China makes a $500 million investment in a Trump-branded property in Indonesia. Are these things related? We don't know. Certainly the Russians were hoping for relief from sanctions. That was the whole point of this meeting.
Could this possibly be part of the Mueller probe?
Well, I think the Mueller probe needs to look at the issue of, certainly vis-a-vis the Russian investigation, is there other evidence that this was the modus operandi of the Trump family? That is, trading foreign policy decisions for money, for business investment. But beyond Mueller, the Justice Department, whether it's Bob Mueller or not, the Justice Department needs to be looking at any credible allegation that the First Family is selling the policy of the United States to make a buck.
Adam Schiff.